Good morning. So, goodness, I usually write novels. And I just type, right? But the world is changing. Like, I've been in a debate on Facebook about AI, and like, oh my God, people are having AI write their books for them and do their covers for them. And you know what? I actually like AI art. I know, controversial opinion, but okay, it's not actually controversial. Pretty much everybody, the consensus is that AI art is horrible, and the people who make the AI generators are stealing art, which they are, and it's it's more complicated than that, because what we want is for people to compensate artists properly, and for people to, as writers, we want people to come read our stories and maybe pay for those stories. I mean, not huge amounts of money. We're not talking like $500 for a 20,000 word novella here. Give me 99 cents if you read my story. And of that, I'll get 70 cents. But if enough people did that, I could buy a house. I could pay so much tuition. Oh my God, there's so many classes I want to take. I would have all the PhDs if people read my writing with as much enthusiasm as I write my writing. I would have no money problems. I would not be on disability if that were the case. It's not the case. There have been some times in my life where my writing did pretty well. Um, in 2005 through like 2009, I I did not great. I certainly wasn't buying any, you know, castles in the countryside of France, but I did okay. Part of that was that there wasn't as much competition. Um, Amazon Kindle wasn't a thing at the start of 2005 yet, and even when it got to be a thing, many writers didn't realize it was there. And I wrote yaoi, I wrote mail. I know, and it went out of fashion, and publishers don't want chicks with dicks anymore. And well, I still like my yaoi. I like what I've always written, but now there's 10 million other people also writing it, so I don't stand out anymore. And that's what we're afraid of when we think AI is going to start writing books. It's the same thing that's always been happening. And as much as I would like to be all like, I'm the only male reader, or sorry, male writer anybody can read, and throw me all the monies, that would be unfair and very not helpful. The world needs variety. The more variety, the better. Diversity is the best thing that ever happened to humanity. Even if it means I'm not making as much money as I used to, because readers have so many more choices than they used to have. It's still better because somebody's going to be able to find exactly what they're looking for. And that's going to make their day. I can't write something that will make everybody happy, not and also be true to myself, which is kind of important to me. So, not everybody's going to like my writing. Even if I was crowned Nobel laureate and, they were teaching my books and stories in academic situations, not everybody would like them. I know that's an awful pill to have to swallow. I, I would think everybody wants to like me. That's also so not true. I have so much personal experience to tell me that that is not true. There are many people who don't like me. And so I'm making this huge ass video. It's already 5 minutes long because you know what else I like? I like to talk. It's a very questionable behavior. My roommate doesn't like it. He's like, "You've talked enough. We're done. Go away." And so most of the time I sit in my room and and I talk to my therapist every week, but that is limited, and my current therapist is like talking into the fucking void. Uh, Nothing I say is particularly meaningful to her, I don't think. And so here I am talking to you. You want to hear about my new story? Mm. You know what we had before there was novelists? Storytellers. And they would sit their happy ass down a bar or around a campfire and just talk stories. The what is the Iliad and Beowulf, all of these really old stories that we have, they weren't written down first. They were just told. And they came in poems because or somewhat poetic meter because people needed to remember them and memorize them and then tell them with flair and panache and oh my god, Patroclus is dying. Oh my god. Yeah, so cool. So maybe things are coming full circle, and the way to share stories is to just come and tell you stories. Mm. So, my new story is called Shiny Things, and the main character, his name is Lars Durand. He is a raven shapeshifter. By the way, the story got denied a contract because Lars is not a wolf, he's a raven, and the editor was like, "Well, we just didn't think that people will pay for a raven." And I'm like, "Well, okay, fine, fuck that. Nobody's going to pay for this video." And I just want to tell the story. Mm. It starts out pretty peaceful. He lives in a it's one room and a bathroom, so it's a studio apartment in an urban area. His apartment is the walls are lined with books, and he daydreams about getting into a PhD program in medieval studies. It's also almost as if he's a fucking self-insert, except he's really handsome with shoulder length, curly, wavy black hair and blue eyes, and he's not fat. I'm fat. I have an appointment coming up with a diabetic nurse, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to go like, "Do you realize that carrots have fewer calories than cookies? You do understand that, right?" And I'm like, yeah, I understand. I'm not dumb. I know fat, being fat, and I am fat, means that I must be dumb. I'm not dumb. I have mental health issues, and sometimes I get suicidal. Okay, by sometimes I mean almost every hour, most of the days. But I put a cookie or a Pop Tart in my mouth and I fucking feel better. My therapist says that I should find some other things that make me happy. And I'm like, "Oh, I think Tom Ellis is busy and not interested in marshmallow shaped dudes." Hmm. But Henry Cavill also busy, and that person that I role play with, whom I adore beyond fucking words, also busy. And my cat is mean. Well, she's less mean than she used to be. She's still pretty mean. So Pop Tarts are my safest bet. And anyways, I should tell you more about Lars, right? So Lars, his neighbor is Bernard Hansen, and Bernard actually is a wolf. He is also a private detective, and he is on the hunt for a serial killer. The serial killer is killing shapeshifters, and that's a problem in the city they live in because the cops aren't interested in hunting this serial killer. When a shapeshifter dies in this world, in our world, at least according to mythology, because shapeshifter's probably not real. But in our world, when a werewolf or a shapeshifter dies, they return to their human form. In this world, in the world where Lars lives, when a shapeshifter dies, they turn into their animal form. And the cops are like, no body, no crime. So if the shapeshifting community wants to catch this killer, they hired Bernard to go do it. So Bernard is hunting a serial killer, and the serial killer likes to target bird shifters. And Bernard is like, hey, pretty raven bird shifter, you want to help me catch a killer? So the two of them end up going to a nightclub to draw out the killer so that Bernard can catch him. And I have made a very long video, so I'll tell you all about what happens at the nightclub next video. Oh, and that's January. Maybe I'll introduce you to my mousels. I have two mice. One's name is Radovid, and the other one is Geralt. And I'm a Jaskier muse, so I'm like, if I can open their habitat and offer them a treat, and they both come running, that's a win for me.